We are anonymous. The cowardly Japanese Prime Minister Naoto Kan handed 60 trillion yen over to the Federal Reserve Board crime syndicate immediately after his country was attacked with H.A.A.R.P and nuclear terror, according to Japanese security police sources. The extortion money was paid off following threats to use H.A.A.R.P to cause Mount Fuji to erupt. For those of you still too brainwashed to believe such a thing is possible, please take a look at the following transcript available on the U.S. Defense Department's homepage. It quotes then Secretary of Defense William Cohen as publicly stating in 1997 that others are engaging even in an echo type of terrorism whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. The chief suspects in the earthquake, tsunami and nuclear terror attacks against Japan are U.S. Senator J. Rockefeller and the Bush faction of the U.S. corporate and criminal government. Rockefeller is a power broker behind H.A.A.R.P, the company that manufactured the flawed reactors now spewing radiation in Fukushima. In addition, U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell, acting as an envoy for Rockefeller, met with Japanese power broker Ichiro Ozawa on March 9, 2 days before the earthquake, tsunami and nuclear disaster hit Japan. During that meeting, Campbell promised that if Ozawa cancelled his plans to split the ruling Democratic Party of Japan, Japanese public prosecutors would stop persecuting him. According to Japanese imperial family and Democratic Party sources, Ozawa was also promised control of zeolite deposits in Fukushima Prefecture. The sources said, zeolite is used to clean up radioactive waste. It is also worth noting that Senator Rockefeller once wrote an introduction to a book by Ozawa. In another sign this was a deliberate attack, experts at the University of Tokyo and well as in Italy detected H.A.A.R.P signals focused on Fukushima in the hours before the earthquake and tsunami struck. The same signals have since been detected focused on Mount Fuji where the groundwater is heating up. In addition, over 5 different people have contacted this writer since the earthquake to warn that Japan was about to sink into the ocean. To counteract this threat, the White Dragon Society has provided GPS coordinates for all worldwide H.A.A.R.P facilities to the appropriate parties. We have also been contacted by agents located within U.S. underground bases who told us the U.S. Seal Beach underground base, with the H.A.A.R.P facility in it, had 7 levels with one entrance located 14,000 feet underground and another located 26,080 feet underground. There were also entrances to underground bases in Brecon Beacon in Wales, Brussels in Belgium and Berkshire, England. Despite the cowardly reaction of the Japanese government, the Federal Reserve Board crime syndicate and their corporate subsidiary known as Washington, D.C. are still headed for bankruptcy. This is a fact of nature that cannot be changed with threats and violence, no matter how extreme. Fortunately, U.S. President Obama and 4 top generals have promised to take action against the satanist Khazarians operating inside the U.S. in exchange for a write-off of all U.S. external debt. The debt will, of course, be written off, but only in exchange for a promise of a swords to plowshares transition by the military-industrial complex. In a separate development, we published a warning last week from a self-described Miles 6, FSB and Serbian triple agent using the code name Alexander that the Camp Bond-Steel U.S. military base in Kosovo would be hit by a suitcase nuclear bomb at 4:44 p.m. on April 4. We waited to see if this would happen before writing this report and it did not. As a result, we feel a need to explain why we took Alexander's warning seriously. Alexander first contacted this writer several years ago after being introduced by a Canadian agent called Steve M. He told me he had 70 kilograms of Thai stick, that is to say marijuana dipped in opium, and said that he would kill me if I did not introduce him to the Yakuza. I introduced him to a Japanese right-winger who then took him to see some Yakuza gangsters. The Yakuza told him it was a trap and that the Thai stick was tainted with dangerous narcotic chemicals. In fact, Alexander became increasingly delusional and megalomaniac, calling himself the Antichrist etc. After partaking of his own product. Alexander himself is a nice person who means well, but he was sent here by some very nasty people connected to George Bush Sr. et al. This trap was part of what appears to be a deliberate campaign to discredit this writer. A Japanese public security agent also, around the same period, attempted to get this writer to drink orange juice that had been spiked with amphetamines. There were other such incidents as well that I will not get into. These attempts to destroy this writer's mind with drugs were accompanied by a massive smear campaign. Democratic Party of Japan politicians, Japanese publishers and many other influential people who have been approached multiple times by people saying, Benjamin Fulford has gone insane. Unfortunately for them, my sanity is still here with me. I can see it floating right above my head, Jay. There is nothing insane about saying that 90% of humanity's savings should not be spent on a massive military machine engaged in perpetual warfare. It is the current rulers of the West who are acting insanely by invading harmless countries, killing innocent people and stealing their resources. All the White Dragon Society and its allies are saying is that we want the owners of the Federal Reserve Board to appear before a Truth and Reconciliation Committee in exchange for forgiveness, and that control of the global financial system be returned to the people of the planet. We have the ability to end poverty and stop environmental destruction within a matter of months. We are anonymous. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.